You know that sentence we all say, "You will never please everyone." We nod like we believe it, but then you post something online, or make a decision in your family, or say one honest sentence at work, and suddenly you're staring at a wall of reactions, and every part of you is trying to fix, explain, apologize, defend, just to calm people down. So let's talk honestly. Because the point of your life is not to become a full-time customer support agent for other people's moods. And if you don't get this clear, you will exhaust your faith, your mind, and your dignity trying to pay a bill that never stops growing. In our tradition, there's something beautiful. The Prophet ﷺ said that one of the most beloved deeds to God is bringing joy to another believer, putting real ease into someone's heart. So no, we're not saying, forget people, who cares? A believer actually wants people around them to feel calm, seen, respected, at peace. But there's a condition most of us quietly delete. You do that without sacrificing the pleasure of Allah. You're not here to make people happy against the truth. You're here to serve God through kindness to people. That sounds simple until you actually start speaking in public. In the early generations, there was a kind of mercy in how knowledge traveled. Sayyiduna Ali, radiyallahu anhu, said, "Speak to people with what they can understand. Do you want that Allah and His Messenger be rejected?" Abdullah ibn Masud, radiyallahu anhu, said something similar. If you tell people something their minds cannot grasp, it will become a trial for some of them. In other words, don't just ask, "Is this statement true?" Ask also, "Is this the right statement for these specific people right now in this way?" A farmer, a lawyer, a teenager, a 70-year-old grandmother, they may all love Allah, but they don't process the same sentence in the same way. Their experiences, education, trauma, culture, language, all different. Back then, a scholar could look at the faces in front of him and tailor his words. Today, you upload a single video and it lands simultaneously in the phones of a PhD in fiqh, a new Muslim who took Shahada last week, a 15-year-old doom-scrolling at 2 a.m., a secular Arab who's half curious, half angry, a professional in London on the train, a mom in Jakarta cooking dinner, all listening to the same sentence, each one hearing something totally different. And each one, of course, is convinced, my reaction is the intelligent one. Everyone else is wrong. Most people don't know that in fiqh, many issues have 2, 3, 10 valid opinions. They imagine Islam is like a multiple choice test, 1A, 3 wrong answers. So when they see real scholars differ, they assume, if this sheikh disagrees with the opinion I heard first, he must be ignorant, corrupt, or a sellout. No awareness that different contexts produce different fatwas. Every opinion has pros and cons. Sometimes all the options are messy and you pick the least harmful, not the perfect one. On top of that, they don't know that fatwa can change with time, place, and circumstance. Something a scholar said in 2014 might not apply in 2025. New laws, new dangers, new realities, new information. But the internet never forgets. You say, the situation has changed, the ruling changes with it. And someone comments, got you. In an old video, you said the opposite. Hypocrite. No nuance, no context, just screenshots and rage. And then there is something we almost never forgive anymore. A scholar saying the 3 most honest words in the world. I don't know. Imam Malik, one of the greatest jurists in history, was once asked dozens of questions in a single sitting. On the majority of them, he answered, I don't know. He preferred humility over fabrication. He would rather disappoint a questioner than lie about Allah. Now, imagine that online. A teacher says, honestly, I don't know enough to answer that issue publicly. Half the people accuse him of ignorance, the other half accuse him of hiding his real opinion. Because in our age, certainty is worshipped, even if it's fake. So let's put all this together and be blunt. Pleasing everyone is impossible. Not hard, impossible. The Prophet gave us the mental escape hatch a long time ago. He said that whoever seeks the pleasure of Allah, even if it angers people, Allah will be enough for him and protect him from people.
and whoever chases people's pleasure by angering Allah, Allah will leave him to those people. Meaning, if your compass is people's likes, comments, and approval, you will become a prisoner of a crowd that is never full. But if your compass is Allah, you might still get misunderstood, criticized, insulted, yet somehow, over the long run, hearts that matter will soften, doors will open, and you will be carried in ways you never planned. There's an old folk story that captures this perfectly. A man, in Arabic stories we call him Juha, bought a donkey with his son. They're walking into town. First, the father rides and the son walks. People see them and say, "Look at this cruel father. He rides while the poor boy walks. Heartless." So the father climbs down and lets his son ride. New group of people, "Look at this spoiled child, riding while his old father walks. No manners." Okay, they both get on the donkey. Another group, "Oppressors, two people on one poor animal. No mercy." Okay, they both climb off and walk next to the donkey. People laugh. "These two idiots, they have a donkey and don't ride it." In a desperate move, the story says, they eventually end up carrying the donkey. Now the crowd really laughs. They've lost their minds. Instead of the animal serving them, they serve the animal. Juha goes home and says, essentially, there is no hope. If I live for people's comments, I'll go insane. Welcome to social media. Today, the crowd is not the marketplace of one town. It's millions of strangers with zero context, zero responsibility, and 10 spare seconds to judge you.
Now, here's where it gets darker. It's one thing to disagree with an opinion. That's normal, that's healthy. Debate is part of our tradition. What's new is the collapse of basic manners in how we disagree. Young people, sometimes barely 20 or 25, speaking to scholars as if they're talking down to a child. Not just saying, "I think you're wrong," but "You're a hypocrite, you're a traitor, you're a sellout, you just want money and fame." As if they have a scanner into someone's heart. Bad adab used to be embarrassing. Now it's content. And here's what hurts the most. This isn't just rude behavior online. This is the soil we are growing our future in. Because a community can survive ignorance longer than it can survive arrogance. You can teach someone who doesn't know. You can't teach someone who thinks they know everything already. When character collapses, everything else collapses slowly after it. Our unity, our ability to organize, our hope of escaping crises, whether in Gaza, Syria, Yemen, Libya, or anywhere else. As one poet said, nations live as long as their morals live. When their morals die, they die too. So yes, your one angry comment matters. Your manners in disagreement are not just words, they're a vote for the kind of Ummah we're going to be. So what do we do with all this? If you're someone who speaks, teaches, posts, or even just shares opinions at the dinner table, here's the mental shift. Start with Allah, not the algorithm. Ask, if I stand in front of him with this sentence, am I okay repeating it? Not, will this avoid all backlash? Respect the limits of people's minds. Not everyone needs your deepest, most complex thought. Sometimes wisdom is saying less, or saying it more simply, or saying, this isn't for this audience. Accept that misunderstanding is part of the job. If even prophets were called liars, magicians, crazy, you will not be the first innocent person to be misread. Guard your own manners, especially when you're right. The real test of character isn't when you're wrong and apologizing, it's when you're right and still able to be humble, calm, and fair. When you consume with taqwa. Before you type that furious comment, pause. Ask, if this person is sincere and I am wrong about their intention, how will this look on my scale in the hereafter? The bottom line, you will never control people's reactions, but you do control the intention you speak with, the manners you disagree with, and the one you're trying to please. If you aim at their hearts, you'll lose yours. If you aim at his pleasure, he will take care of your heart and theirs in ways you couldn't design yourself. If this sharpened how you think, not what you think, this channel is for you. We focus on understanding reality, not selling excitement. Peace be with you.